Hello, welcome to the Microservices lecture winter term 2021. And so I'm not in the university today because we have snow in Germany. And you might be able to see a little bit out of my window that I'm pretty stuck in snow today. And therefore we will have a little bit limitations on the camera settings and all this stuff, but I hope that we will be able to actually do this. Um, and so let's switch to the real lecture. Uh, we were uh, well doing the communication between the warehouse service and the shop service in the last week, in the last 2 weeks actually. And actually we were able to get those two services to talk to each other, to publish that they are available and to subscribe for certain topics. And that was somehow working quite okay. And so, okay, could somebody help Amel? Okay, cool. Um, please be aware, because I'm at home, the recording will include everything that you say on Zoom. I'm recording the desktop audio too, and therefore that will be part of the video, please. So if you want to become a famous YouTube star, it's now your chance to shout something into the lecture and say your name. It's only the voice, not your pictures. Okay, so today we are going on. And actually we are going to Heroku today. Before I go there, I want to do some more stuff concerning this one, and therefore I need to actually make that one smaller. It's so complicated. Smaller, smaller, smaller. Yeah, so that I can actually open this one. I have extended the scenario that we were using, and that one is still loading. And let's have a look at where we were those days. Can you read that? A little bit after all. Uh, we were actually, you can actually open hopefully this document, and if you zoom into this scenario, I've prolongate this a little bit. Um, this was that at the warehouse user interface, you were able to do suppliers, products, orders, arrivals, and we were doing this do an order thing. And I have actually now, well, extended this by this part, um, where Italy now is delivering a pallet of shoes, and then there's Fred Forklift, the guy at the ramp at where the trucks arrive, and he says, "Oh, I opened the order thing, and then I see these are things that are ordered and that should be coming soon." Then he can click on, might click on. I hope that works. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is something that Bob has ordered 40 shoes. I would like to store this then. And then you go for main palettes edit. And there you can actually say, oh yeah, there is this order and there are shoes from Roma and it's actually 30. So they didn't deliver 40. And the palette gets the address or the barcode AU333, and then it's okay. So this is stored. This is then sent to the warehouse service, and then you get the overview of all the palettes. Um, Finally, This should then actually, you can add more palettes and these kinds of stuff. Uh, this information is also passed to the shop service. So we do not only pass products from the warehouse service to the shop service, but also the palettes. And the palette is actually, the shop service stores it, and then when you open the web shop, you get a new page. So we did not yet build that, so this will be an assignment for the next 2 weeks. You can go for hidden. So this is nothing that, come on. That is nothing that is shown to your customers. So like Alice on the web shop, but hidden are those things that are for internal users. Actually, there should be a login screen and password and security in these kinds of stuff. But unfortunately, we will not be able to deliver the security things in this lecture. You can actually do password security things with Express easily, but I'm just not covering this in this lecture. We have had a login for the web shop warehouse graphical user interface React thing, but actually we never check whether this is actually working. And you can open any dialog in our web warehouse anytime without actually doing a login. We do not really check it. So if you would actually like to build a real world application, you have to Google for that. Google how to do authentication with Express and how to handle that. There is tons of tutorials out there, and these lectures have prepared you so well for working with all this stuff that you will be able to add this to our architecture without any problems, hopefully. I'm sorry, next year I will try to include that in the lectures. We don't do it this year. I'll come back next year. That would be another good idea. So here I just do a hidden part where you can actually now say, oh, now I have products on stock. So I actually do an offer, which actually says, oh, I add a price to this thing. And I says, oh, those shoes, those 30 shoes that we now have on stock, they'll be able to sold for 42 euros each pair. And that is then stored into the warehouse database, of course, the shop database, and so on. And if you later on open the web shop user interface as a customer, then you go for shop.offers, and there you see the winter special shoes. Then you can click on buy, and that will actually give you an order sheet, which is shop orders edit, which actually says, oh, that one is weird. No, that one needs to go. Sorry for that. You get an order ID, the offer that you're referring to, you add your username, and you add the address where this should be delivered, and then you click buy. This order is sent to the backend, and then you go over for shop orders, which is your orders Alice. So it actually knows that you are Alice, and then it shows all the orders that Alice has done or known in the database. Okay. That's basically the idea. So I did implement parts of this, but I don't show it to you today. We will have a look at it. Come on. Then I need to, let's have a look. I'm starting the warehouse server, start warehouse server, yeah. Okay, you can see that. Cool. Is the font big enough? Can you actually read this, guys? My source code, or should, yeah, it's okay. I love it. Okay, I will change this a little bit. No, I don't do. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. Did that start after all? Not yet. Eh. Okay, that one did actually start, and then I start the web warehouse. I have created a new launch configuration for that. So, Sebastian, I still have a message on my screen saying that there are customers waiting or students waiting and would like to enter.
They already joined.
Great. So hopefully this starts my user interface. And so why did this take so long? It just takes so long. Starting development server. Here it comes. A lot of warnings that you should never ignore. So if I enter this one now, and if it is a good day for science, no, it's not. So why not? It takes time. I know why. And that's a cool thing after all. So it should be Albert. Um, it's very secret password. And then the point is that I have a new topic here. It's pellets. And if I go here, I see the list of pellets that I already have. I add one, and I say it's a year 333, of course. Oh, let's have, yeah, and the barcode of the product is P42.shoes, and it's about 42 shoes. And then there is a position field. And position actually here is so where in my warehouse is this actually stored. So, and this could be a row number 4, column number 20, or something like that. Or because this is not yet delivered, it's still not arrived. So that would be a good one. And then you can actually see now here an overview of all these things that we do have. Okay. In order to have this, you need to have all the kinds of things that you know about, and actually you will be able to actually do this. You can copy from order or other things, and it's a pretty easy exercise to actually go through this. On the server side, server warehouse, yeah. There you need to, of course, a test for these things, for pallets, yeah. And then you need a model with a palette, and then you need a pellets editor with all the stuff that you usually have. And then you need in your business model a palette event handler, and your model and your submit handler needs to um, actually um, initialize that one here or send this, and then you're fine. And it's copy pasting all the things that you know about. It's an easy thing. Okay. Great. So then we can go and do the real stuff for today. And we go for Heroku, and we will actually go for all this here. So the point is, so far we are deploying our backend services, the warehouse service and the shop service. Uh, Come on. Come on. Could you actually do it in a... Yeah, that one. Uh, ah, sorry. So I'm not at the office, and therefore it's all a little bit harder to do it. Um, the point is that those two services are running on local host these days. So we are starting this locally on my laptop where I do the lectures on my computer here. Later on, I want the user interface to be available anywhere in the world. So I want customers from all over the country, all over the any country in the world, and therefore my services need to be reachable from any other computer in the world. So today I'm at my home and I'm sitting here in my local network that is running only in my house. And actually what you get if you start your computer and connect to your Wi-Fi or whatever, or to your local um, network, internet, then you get usually an IP number via dynamic name services, which is local. And actually, it should not be possible that you guys from Kassel or Douala can currently reach anything which is running on my local host on my computer. So to really go into business, I need to deploy my services somewhere where you can reach them from any other point in the internet. There are multiple possibilities how you can actually do that. You can actually talk to your administration and or web admin and tell them, or network administration, and tell them, oh, please, I would like to have a fixed IP for this computer, and I would like to use it as a server, and I would like to actually be able to make this computer visible outside to other computers within the internet. Actually, what you do need is um, an entry to these dynamic name services. So you need actually to announce, give your thing a name that is can be reachable, and tell the internet, the routers that are go out there, how this is going to be reached. So most of you won't have the power to do that, and actually it's pretty painful, and a lot of stuff that needs to be done, and then you have a computer which is running in your site, and you need to actually go there to maintain it, update it, and all these kinds of stuff. So these days we actually deploy our services in the cloud. There are multiple options where you can actually do that. Well, actually, you go for some cloud provider who is going where you're going to rent a computer that has an IP or an address that is visible within the world. Then they do that for you, and that's the easiest thing that you can actually do. Um, there are tons of those cloud providers. Amazon is very well known. You can go for Amazon, and they will actually deliver this service to you. There is the Azure cloud, which is run by, I have no idea, Microservices, Microsoft. Um, you can have it from eBay, actually. I think you can have it from Google, after all. These are the really big players. So in Germany, we would now recommend usually go for Hetzner, which is actually a sponsor of our department. Um, and that is a very cheap and affordable thing there. You can go, and there are many other local or German or European cloud providers where you can actually rent a machine. Um, for this lecture, we are going to go for Heroku. Heroku is yet another cloud provider where you can actually rent a machine. However, you if you want a real machine, you need to pay for it quite a lot, or quite some money. And uh, in there, and for advertisement reasons, actually, you get pretty restricted machines for free, so that you can actually go start as a student, for example, and as long as your traffic is below a certain threshold and you do not need special things on that machine, you can actually use it for free. And that's very attractive for this lecture. But it has some other disadvantages that we need to discuss. So actually, those virtual things that you are renting in the cloud, you do not get a physical machine. What you get is always a virtual machine. And those virtual machines come so that actually they, in those compute server centers, they have real big racks and stacks of physical computers. And on each single physical computer, they run a bunch of virtual machines, just because most of those virtual machines are not really using all the hardware capacity, so you can have multiples of those on a single hardware computer. Uh, from your point of view, a virtual machine is not much different from a real machine. However, first you need to recall that those machines are living in the cloud, so have no keyboard attached to them and no screen attached to them. So that's things they run usually headless, which is okay for a backend service. And even for a React server who just delivers things. So you access them usually via a browser in order to see what's going on there and to interact with those virtual machines. Um, those virtual machines, there are different technologies how you build them. Currently, Docker is the thing that most of the people use. Actually, we are now going towards Kubernetes. Kubernetes runs with either Docker, or they have even smaller virtual machines which are called pods. However, for this lecture, we assume that all the world what use virtual machines which are Docker containers after all. So Docker is a new brand or new kind of virtual machine which is very lightweight. And actually what they do, if you have multiple Docker containers, virtual machines running, they share a lot of common things in their operating system. And they have some kind of diff or Git-like versioning mechanism where they have a common ground for all the virtual machines or containers, and then on top of that only small deltas that are specific to your container. And thereby those Docker containers, these Docker virtual machines, become very, very lightweight, and then you can have them with some 20, 30 megabyte of disk space or RAM space, and that's a pretty cheap thing. And actually, currently we are starting, the trend is that for each single service that you are going to execute, you start your own Docker service, your own Docker component, your own small virtual machine that runs only this little service, and you never put multiple services on a single virtual machine. That's a thing you don't do any longer. The point is, because if now every service has its own small virtual machine, and you can do updates of Node versions, TypeScript versions, or whatever you want, local to a single service. And that's a very good thing if you have a big machine where multiple backends are running or web services are running, and you would like to change something in the operating system, do an update of the operating system or something like that. It's pretty expensive. You need to shut down all the services, and then you need to migrate all services to the new software version and then restart them, and that's a pretty painful thing. Because we split them into multiple Docker services, everything is much more flexible these days. So a Docker service is usually represented by such a whale that is actually running a lot of containers on top of them. Uh, so actually on that machine where you are going to start your Docker container is a master process program running that is actually this whale here that is maintaining all the virtual machines that run on that machine. Uh, Sometimes this master Docker server, the whale, is actually physically installed on that hardware. Sometimes actually that one runs in a virtual machine itself, but we don't care. So we actually talk to a whale, a Docker service, that is able to start and stop and maintain and update virtual machines for us. Um, Usually there is a distinction between a container and an image. And for simplicity reasons, an image is something like a compressed container. You zip it and compress it, and then you can actually transfer it between different whales or different disks or whatever. And so there are usually Docker registries, which are again cloud servers where you can upload images. And then you can tell this load, please go to the main Docker registry and download the image Albert Warehouse backend image. And then you can actually say, and then now please start this. And starting means actually turn this image into a container and then actually deploy the virtual machine. Virtual machines that change something on their virtual file system might then be stopped, and actually then the container, well, the modified container is again stored persistently on that whale, but it's not going back to registry. If you want to go back to registry, you need actually now turn this container back up into an image again, and then you can actually register it. So usually what we would do now is we would pack our warehouse backend into a Docker container and then send it into some registry and then tell our cloud provider, there the whale, please would you download that thing and start it for us. That's the usual way how you do that. Um, and Yes, we could do that, but then we would actually need to learn how to build a Docker container and how do a Docker file and descriptions, and this is again a little bit tricky. But next year we will actually use Hetzner to deploy our things within this lecture. This year we use Heroku, and Heroku is actually offering a special service for you. And it says, please, Albert, don't bother with building a Docker container. We are going to do that for you. And all that you need to do is give us a Git repository, and then you do a commit or a push to that Git repository, and then we will listen to that Git repository, and if there is a change, we will actually download the new version of that Git project, and we will automatically build it, turn it into a container, and start that container. That's basically the idea. So on Heroku, there is a host somewhere where you can actually have something like GitHub that they offer the same service and GitHub offers for you, and then you say, okay, I have a local my project under Git control, and I now connect as a remote to the Heroku server, and then I do a push there. That's basically the thing, and it's a facilitated way to build such a container. On the other hand, well, you're giving up control. If there's something going wrong in the process of building the container, that is hard to debug, and we will actually see why this is a problem for us. So for this purpose of this lecture, it would be better to have the real way to do it. But this year we actually use the Heroku service. Next year, come back next year, and then we'll have it with the real thing. Okay, so what do we need to do? We create an account. Let's do that. I go for Heroku login. Oh, yeah. And there is something like go log in, or if you do not yet have account, do a sign up. I do a login. And because I already tried that yesterday, I already have uh, virtual machines, and so I will directly end up in this overview here. And I actually have a running service, which is the Albert Server Warehouse thing that I was building yesterday in preparation of this of today. And so when you the first time start this is just empty, and then but you are fine here. That's a good thing. So the next thing what we do is we go to the lecture and go for Heroku getting started. If you do that, you get a pretty good guided tour how to actually upload your Node.js application to Heroku. So we want a Node.js thing. That's cool because we run it in TypeScript. And then it says, oh, view as a single page. Can you still read that? You guys? Yeah, probably. And then you see you need to install something on your computer. And so why do we do that? Well, actually, you need your laptop where you're currently working on, or your PC where you're actually doing all the software development, needs to talk to this whale at the Heroku cloud and tell him things. And they have a small program that you download on your computer that connects to the whale, to the cloud computer, to this management thing, and tell those management thing what you would like to do. And so usually you install a Docker client at your computer, which is then on the command line you do a command which is called Docker. And well, actually, Heroku has branded this and has done some additions to that and extended it. And therefore, what you need to do is you do download the appropriate installer for whatever you do. I did that yesterday, so I do not need to do this again. The next thing what you need to do is a Heroku login. Well, actually, what you are doing here is you tell your local computer, and there this new program that you have installed, that you have an account within the Heroku cloud. And so your local computer needs to log in or to connect to the whale, and this is done by Heroku login. And fortunately, you only need to do that once. And let me do this here. I actually would like to stop these because it's just too much work. And we go for the server shop today, because yesterday I deployed the server warehouse, and today I do the server shop. So I will have at the end of the day 2 of those services, and I can always look back. What did I do to the warehouse if it does not work for the server shop. So here I do a Heroku login. Yeah. And then he actually says, yeah, you did that already, hopefully. Press any key to open a browser. Oh, yeah. It's opening a browser, and then it says, okay, you might need to, well, enter your credentials again, and then you're logged in and you're done. Because I already have logged in, it didn't ask me for password again. And so they generate a token for you, and this is stored locally, and so we are now connected. So I can now do something like Heroku, well, minus minus help is always a good start, and then you get a huge bunch of things that you can actually do. Um, and let's see what's an interesting thing. There's this PS. They always says do a Heroku PS in order to see whether this works. So whether your command line program, your local program, is able to connect the whale within the cloud. And yeah, it seems to work. I'm not sure about it. It says you need to say minus a. I have no idea. Okay, back to the getting started. So we did a Heroku login. Great. Then they say you need to have a node installed. You hopefully have. You need npm installed. You hopefully have. You need Git to be installed. I'm not sure whether you have that. I hope you have. Let me check whether I have it. So git minus minus version. You need the command line version of that, and that needs to be available to the system. Yeah, it's here. The versions are all fine. I did check that. And then they say, okay, in this tutorial, you download something which is a getting started example project. And no, we do not want to do that, which is probably a big mistake because it will actually hurt us a lot that we try to um, take the project that we already have and to push them up. But hey, come on, we are great guys. We get that. So we go for deploy the app, and then it says, oh yeah, you need to do a Heroku create. That's a cool thing. Let's do that. Oh, come on. What you do is we are still in the server stuff. We do a Heroku create, and actually we could send it, and then they will actually assign you a random name for the virtual machine that you are creating. That's not what I want. I want to assign the name myself, so I give it as a second parameter, and I want an Albert shop server. So note, the name that you are using here is a name
Albert,
that is,
I'm sorry, you may have to
yeah,
put away your camera
put my camera
or on the top.
somewhere else. Hey,
Great.
thank you. So it's Heroku create Albert shop server. The name, this is the name that the computer or the server is going to get where my my service is running then. And then actually you will use this name in your browsers instead of localhost in order to access this thing. And be aware that you are not the only guy having a virtual machine at Heroku. But all the fellow students of your course have 4 machines on Heroku too, and then some 100,000 other people. So they're running thousands and thousands and 100,000, quite a million different virtual machines. And your name here must not interfere with a name that any other guy in the world is using on Heroku. So use something which is personal and something which describes your thing. And I hope that Albert Shop server is not yet used. So it's do something, and I'm not sure whether it was wise to do this in this way, but let's see. It's Albert Shop server, and it says, oh yeah, you have a Git. I love it. We will have a look at that one. Hey, click. Open. Method not allowed. So I cannot go for create Heroku Albert Shop Server Git. That's bad. What I can do is I go here and do a refresh. And when this is a good idea, there is my shop server. Hey, it's there. Cool. I just have created a new virtual machine at Heroku within the cloud. Well, actually, if you go into that virtual machine, it doesn't have that many things yet. So yeah, that's bad. So let's go back. And let's have again the getting started thing. And then they say, oh yeah, what you need to do is git push Heroku main. And actually, I think I messed up. Let me see. Yeah, I totally messed up. I'm not sure. So we have a problem here that are in our. Let me. Well, yeah, I go for that one. In our setup, I have a root directory. Can I actually enlarge that one? I have no idea. Which is the Microservices shop and warehouse a Zündorf. This is the thing that I got from the assignments from GitHub Classrooms. And that one contains 4 projects, the server warehouse, the server shop, the web warehouse, and the web shop. And so we have one Git repository for those 4 projects. If we now go for the server warehouse, for example, what we need is a local Git project in this subdirectory. That's a bad thing. So we were using this top level Git to cover them all because that is a convenient thing for within this lecture and for our tutors to access all the code that you are creating. So if a tutor wants to check what your assignment, he does not or she does not need to actually go into 4 different Git repositories in order to get all your stuff. However, we want 4 different machines on Heroku, and Heroku wants a dedicated Git repository for each of those. So what we need to do is we need to have a local Git repository. And so what I would like to create these with Git Kraken, which I usually use, and I tried so yesterday and it doesn't work. Actually, it would have been a good idea to create this machine before you to initialize the Git repository before you go and create the machine on Heroku. And so let's go back for the site here, and we just kill the machine. This is done in settings after all. And I delete the machine again, and then he says, oh, everything is lost, oh my god. Yeah, I do that. So it's gone again. No problem, it's so easy to create the virtual machines, so it's not bad to just get to have it away these days. I go back for that one, and so we first need to initialize a Git repository, a local one. And this is, I need to do that on the command, and I have no idea how it really works. And I just do a git init. That one actually creates a local .git file, which I don't see yet. Server shop. So where is it? server shop.git. It should be here. It should be in the list. I have no idea where it's not. Help, Sebastian, help. No, git in it.
Maybe you have to use ls -la because you do not.
.vs code is visible. Yeah, but you might be
Yeah,
right.
but the git folder is normally hidden. Or you just can do something like cd.git. Yeah, right. It's just hidden. It's just hidden.
Yeah. So why doesn't he recognize this parameter?
Because this is just a lightweight implementation from ls in the PowerShell.
So we have a .git directory, and there all our local Git commits will actually be hosted and helped and these kinds of things. So another thing that he should have now is a git ignore. And I will copy this git ignore from the server warehouse git ignore. I don't have it. It should be there. Okay, I'll find it. Come on. Get rid of the open editors. Go for the server warehouse and close these ones. There's a git ignore thing. And copy that one and go for the server shop and push it. Put it there. Here we are. And the git ignore actually should especially include this one, the dist file. I usually include these two, and it should include the node modules. That's a very important one. Otherwise, you would actually check in all those things that npm is downloading for you, and that is a ton of things, and you do not want it in your Git repositories. Okay. So then you can say git status. No commits yet. You can say git, and yeah, but it tells which are the files that it's going to add to your thing if you do not say anything else. Then you say git add dot, so everything that is listed here looks good for me. Yeah. And we do git status again. And then it says, oh, these are all files that needs to be committed. So we do a git commit minus initial commit. And then actually it has done this. If I do a git status again, it says, oh yeah, you are fine. So now I have a local Git repository that runs on my local machine. And if I now create a virtual machine with Heroku, let's go back. Heroku create Albert Shop server. You can read that. Let me double check what you see. Yeah, that's cool. That should now work. I'm not sure, but I hope so. No, still doesn't work. I have no idea why. It did work, after all. So let's go for the getting started thing. And it says what you now do is git push Heroku main. So what we have is we have it committed to our local thing, and we now would like to upload it to the cloud to the Heroku cloud, to the Heroku manager. Let's do that one. Heroku, no, Git push to the remote thing, which is Heroku, and there to the main branch. Refspec main does not match any. Failed to push to Git Heroku. Probably the point is that our current branch is called master. And so Git has changed its use of its wording. Once upon a time, the first branch that you have was called master, and due to the Black Lives Matters thing, we now call it main. Good thing. So it should be called main, and therefore I need to create a branch which is called main, which is done like by, I have no idea. Well, I think I can do a master main thing. Yeah, that one works. But I actually should change my local branch name. I have no idea how I do that with the. Okay, it's now working. So, and there's a lot of messages coming out. So it says enumerating objects, counting objects, delta compression. No. This is the git command, actually, and that one has worked. Everything is fine. I think at the moment where this message has been sent to us. And then actually at the Heroku side, this whale is watching this Git repository. They have actually a property change hook or a message thing that a listener to this Git repositories. And as soon as there's a new commit, they start to, well, try to look at this and to build this container that is the virtual machine for you. And actually, this is all these things that are coming here. This is actually preparing the container. And then on that container, they say, oh, let's do a build. And they say, oh, yeah, it's a Node.js thing. And then they do something, and they install binaries. They say, okay, you want a virtual machine that is having Node installed. And you get version 14, installing dependencies. What they actually do is a node mon thing here. I have no idea why. So this is actually my build command. I'm not sure about that. They actually look into your package.json and execute the scripts that are there. And so here they actually now do a running build. And in my configuration, it says, please run tslint. And then run the compiler, the TSC compiler. And then he's caching something. I have no idea. And then he removes 150 packages that we do not really need in order to shrink the size of this container. And then he says, oh yeah, npm build did work. Great. And then it does some more compressing things, and then it does launching, and then it says, oh yeah, I have deployed this servers to Heroku. And actually, if you click on this one here, you can actually reach your new virtual machine and the service which is running there directly. And you see it's here it says Albert Shop Server Heroku.com. This is, instead of localhost, double colon and the port number, this is now how I reach my shop service. Cool. However, it says application error. It did not work. But hey, this is already pretty cool that we get so far. And if I go for getting started, for these apps here, and I do a refresh, it should have the Albert Shop server. It's actually, it says it's running. And no, the Albert server warehouse has this little that's here. So that one is sleeping. If your service or your virtual machine is not used by anybody, it's not any browser connected to it after some timeout, Heroku is actually, well, stopping your container and put it into sleep mode in order to save memory. And as soon as a new one is reaching for this URL, it restarts the container. So the first one in the morning to start to connect to your container will have a delay of about 1 minute that they need to start it up. If you have a lot of traffic, your container will be up all the time, and so no one will actually recognize this. Only if it's seldom used, several times, some users will have a certain delay. You live with that. It's for free. If you pay money, you can have it up all time. So we go for the Albert Shop server, and there should be logs. So here it says build succeeded, view build log. Let's have a look at that. And that's actually what have been in our console. So that's cool. Let's go back, and actually it should also give me some more log here, saying what went wrong after all. But because we do not see that, we just do what it's telling us here. It's telling you can look onto the logs if you run this command. Let's do that. Now come on. Control C. Go for that one here. Put it here. And then you get a lot of information of debug output from this container running at the cloud. So recall. I'm working here on my laptop, and my virtual machine is running somewhere in the cloud. And to talk to this virtual machine, I actually use this Heroku commands on the command line. And they have a log there, and it says, our yarn run build, yarn not found. They do a pre-start /app. And actually, now I have to look into the package.json here, and it says do a pre-start. So where does it say pre-start? I have no idea. Oh no, that's not the right one. Yeah, let's close them all and make these small here and go for the server shop, and we go for the package.json. And it has a pre-start thing, and that then says yarn run build. And that's not working. Damn. And actually, yeah, we could use the pre-start. That was very convenient for doing it here during development. And I don't think I need it any longer. And so if Sebastian does not complain, I would just kill the line and get rid of that one. And well, actually, there's more things which are pretty bad. So it will finally call start here. Let's do it again. It's such a nice experience. So we stop looking at this thing here, and so we have just done a change to the package.json file. So we go for git add dot git commit. It's no longer initial. Adjusting package.json. Then we do a git push. And again, the Heroku Whale, the service at the cloud, is now building our container. and he's running build. He's compiling it. So this is what's saying he's running this one here. Before the build, he's running lint, and then he's doing this one here. And that, yeah, build was working fine. Build succeeded. And so now the container is started. Launching. Our virtual machine is now up and running. And so we can go back for this one here and do a restart. And it's still not working. We will have this, well, a dozen times. So don't worry. So we go for Heroku logs. Yeah, so if you do not have this minus tail, it will actually give you the current log and then stop. If you add minus tail, it actually waits for more messages to come up. So if their server is not yet done or starting, and is still creating log messages, and you do not have this minus tail, you will miss the end of these log messages and probably the important one. So it still says, so there's an error. And the problem is not a problem with TMM. So failed at server to start the script. And the problem is he wants to run tsnode dot. And tsnode is not on your virtual machine. And the point here is that we have installed tsnode in our dev dependencies. So it's only in your available during development. And to save space, Heroku only downloads the real dependencies. And so on that virtual machine that is started, there is no tsnode yet. Now that's a bad thing. You can actually move the tsnode forward to the usual dependencies, and then there it will be installed for you. But that's not what you do. tsnode is much slower than the compiled version of it, and therefore you actually do node, and you do not use node to execute this, and you use it in the dist folder. So where the compiler actually creates all the stuff, this is this one here. There's a lot of JavaScript files generated from your TypeScript. And your program is starting with index.js. Okay. Let's try again. Yeah, we did save it. So it's git add, git commit, git push. And well, it's a learning chance to get through all these painful things that you are working with. And after all, the problem here is, well, it's not on your machine, it's on that cloud machine, and actually on two different, there where the container is packed, and then where the machine that is started for you. And it's hard from your computer to access those things and get an idea what's going on there. It's especially hard to debug things running in a Heroku container. So debugging can only be done here locally. You can actually achieve that, but it's really hard. And so all you can have to do is some logging, some console.log things in your code, and then you access it here, and it's pretty painful to get this one. And all this cycle, upload, you add, commit, push, and then it runs for some 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Then you really deploy it. Then you have a look at the logs. And you see it didn't work, and then you need to add more console log and to get a better idea what's going wrong, and it's a pretty painful thing. And it's a very slow process. And I have no idea how fast this is going to be if you are in your apartment in Kassel, or if you are somewhere in Douala and try to reach the Heroku services. I have no idea how fast or this is going to be. It should work. So it says starting the process with npm start. And then it says, oh, I'm actually doing a node.dis.index.js. And then it says database exists. Could you believe that? It says, yeah, there is a database, which is actually not true. And actually, what was database exists is a message that we say we could not create a new database. And then it says, oh, it's already there probably. This is misleading. Then it comes a connection refused thing. Sorry, that's a bad one. Then it comes warehouse is offline. So the shop server cannot reach the warehouse server. And the server started at localhost 34570, which is yet again a bad idea. And yeah. And there's some more things coming here. This database exists. It's coming twice, so why? I have no idea. So that one was Heroku. Is this build thing doing some things? I have no idea. So why is it twice there? That's concerning me. I have no idea. So at the end, it is not yet really working. And there are two things that we need to improve. And therefore we go for the index.js. And no. We go for our source, and then for the index.ts, and then it says, okay, you would wanted to have the server started, but we got this one here, probably. No, we got the server started. And it says the server started on localhost, and this port thing here. And that's not good. And there's a connection refused on 5432. Yeah, that one is a good one. Let's deal with this one first. And that one is actually coming from here. And 5432 is the database thing. And it says, okay, we're accessing the database on localhost. There is no database on your local host in that virtual machine running on Heroku. Damn. So we need to change something here, but that's not the point. And then there is this TCP connect after connect. Connection refused. Well, actually, let's go back for the index.ts and let's have something like here. And so there's this sorry coming from. That is when I actually try to create the table. And still this here is bullshit. Server started on localhost is not going to work. Well, actually, yeah. And then it's stopping with kill. And it says waiting for process to terminate, no child process execute, state change from starting to crashed. It actually has crashed. Yeah, and actually it says why. Here it is. There's an error. The web process failed to bind to $port within 60 seconds after launch. So actually, Heroku expects that your Node.js service is opening a port and that it can be accessed via this port. And but you get exactly one port, not 2, not 3, not 4, 1 port, and you cannot choose that port. Well, actually, your little virtual machine is running with hundreds of other virtual machines on some physical machine, and they do a lot something which is called port forwarding. And actually, those other machines are, well, want to have a port too, and in order to avoid that there is a conflict between those different virtual machines from different users, you are not allowed to choose your port number yourself. But you get a port assigned to you. And now, so yeah, but which port? They tell you in that virtual machine when you start your Node.js thing, in an environment variable, the port that you shall use, and that environment variable is $port. And so we need to do that. And so we go for routes, and here it is. Here we have a constant that tells our Node Express service which port to use, and we have hard-coded 34570, and that needs to change. And therefore we ask for the process environment. And therefore the port variable. That is the way how your TypeScript or JavaScript program or Node.js can actually access environment variables that are passed to you by Heroku. And if that environment variable has a value, then we use it. If it has no value, we use our standard thing. So if you run it on our laptop locally, then we can still use 34570. If we run it on a virtual machine in the cloud.
We just lose Aaron's connection.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell me when you hear me again?
To wait a little moment.
Yeah. I should be hearing again.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you are again.
So what did you get last? What was the last thing that you heard about me?
That the part about the default port.
Yeah. So actually you get this in an environment variable. This is how you access it. If there is no environment variable because you run it locally, then you use this here as the default. And if you run it on Heroku, there will be a value here, and you use that one. Let's try that. So this is something where you can actually commit. I was trying to get all this thing here into a single command line, but I just don't get it. It doesn't work for me. So it's Heroku, no, git push Heroku. We did that. Nothing to commit. Great. We didn't save that. Okay, so it's git add, git commit, git push, and now it starts building. Yeah. I could go for gens. So 50 minutes left. That's a good one. We will need about 4 or 5 more attempts to get it really running. We are just half the way. So it's quite painful after all. So it's just compiling now. Yeah, but I think it's important that you see that's not that easy, and what kind of error messages you are going to run into, and what you need to do about it. Compressing, launching, deployed to Heroku. Yeehaw. Verifying deploy done. Okay. Heroku Lex -- tail. Server started. It's not yet crashed. Sounds good to me. It might be there. Whoa! Did you see that? It says, welcome audience to the VASP shop server. This is the message that we have sent if you go for just this thing. Note that you just take the name that you were using when you were creating the virtual machine, no port numbers. That is handled by Heroku magically. So if this thing here comes in, they map it into their local IP and port number that they have assigned to you, and then they get that running. Hey, it works. That's a cool thing. And yeah, everything is pretty fine so far, and actually it does pretty much work, and it's okay. I love it. Two more things. Actually, we could stop here and do the rest of the thing next week, but actually because it's working so great, let's do some more stuff. There's still this connection refuse thing, so we do not yet have a database assigned to this thing here. And so how shall we do that? Yeah, we need our own. We can do the Postgres thing now. That will actually take quite some while to get that running right. Or we can do the connection between the server warehouse and the server shop. Let's do the Postgres thing. That I have already prepared. The other thing I do not know about whether it's going to work. So we want a database. And fortunately, you are getting a database for free at Heroku. And you do not want it in your container where the shop server runs, but in a different container. It's its own program. And actually what you do you say, I have this Albert shop server here. And no, let's go here again. So these are the two, and the shop server is up and running. And it says it has been deployed and everything is happy and it's not yet crashed, so it's cool. You can now configure add-ons. That is the thing that you would like to do. And actually add-ons is the thing there Heroku is getting money out of you. If you want more things in your container or access available to your virtual machine, you pay for it usually. And then you can say, okay, what do you want? I want a Postgres something add-on. And then there are multiple variants, and the only free one is the Heroku Postgres. And then he asks for, how many money would you like to pay? And it says, I would like the standard 5 for 1,400 euros a month, or something like that. Or the Hobby Basic for $9 per month. Or the Hobby Dev free, which is restricted to some megabyte of space or something like that. Or some thousand queries per day, I have no idea. It's actually somewhere in here, but I don't care. Yeah, I would like to have that. Because I do not want to actually pay something. Then it says, oh yeah, the add-on Heroku Postgres has been started. Check out documentation in the Dev Center article to get started. Great. So we have a database. Let's have a look at this slide here. So we have, it's about this stores here. And when we were using the warehouse event store and the shop event store, I was telling you that it's a good idea to have different databases for those two. And in these databases, we have a table called events. So Heroku is running one Postgres service, one computer actually running the Postgres software, the real database system for you. In this database system, there are multiple databases. Actually, about 50,000 or 100,000, I have no idea. Thousands and thousands of those. If you connect to that database with pgadmin, your pgadmin will be stored for days because it's downloading the list of all the databases. You do not do that. So pgadmin does not work for Postgres database, for the Heroku database. So we need other things here. Still, we have just deployed, created a database after all on this database server that is run by Heroku. And we can actually access this database, and that's a good thing, and put a table in there. And I have, for the other service, for the warehouse service, I have another virtual machine, and I also have its own database over there. And so I have actually two databases, and that's exactly the setting that I have wanted to. And there is something I need to go for here, and I was digging out that yesterday. I need to tell my program, my shop service that is now running on that virtual machine up there in the cloud, where to find its database. And guess it, you do it via a variable, an environment variable, like the $port. There is another variable that is available via Heroku to you, which is called database URL. And that has a link, a URL, contains with the password and all the credentials that you need to connect to the database. That's cool. So I just copy this one, and I go for my program, and I go for the submit handler. And well, for some reasons, I just let the create database as it currently is. And I go for there's a connection string here, which is telling, or use the user postman, use admin as a password, use localhost at the computer you would like to access, use this port number, use this database name. And I'll just use the same trick. I do a process env database URL or thing. So if the environment variable database URL is set, which is done by Heroku, if we run on Heroku, that one will actually provide me with all these things I need. And connection string. I actually need to use this connection string all over the places. So also here. And yeah, no, that is yet another thing. Connection string here. That's create database. I don't care. Oh, here I already use it. It's get listed event. That should do the job. Connection string. I love it. Yeah, that should do the job. So the create database command that we still have here is going to fail when it runs on Heroku. That's not a problem. I already have created the database manually. And so the connection string should actually do the job. Okay, so this is the server started on localhost. I stop listening to the log and I do all the things. So I submit handler, I changed, yeah. So it's git add, git commit, git push, and waiting for it. It's really nice snow out there. All my neighbors are digging the snow out of the walkways. Oh, it's pretty nice to see them working. Yeah, I probably needs to do that too, but actually I could wait for my son coming back and let him do it. Let's try. I should ask one of the tutors to come over and do it. Max.
Only if I get some beer from you.
No, that's a fair deal. Launching. Yeah, might work. Yeah, it says no way. Okay, there's an error thinking here, that one. And I was Googling for that error yesterday quite a while, and it says no PGHBA conf entry at host SSL off. Pass error message. So actually, the Postgres service, database service, running at Heroku is refusing my connection because I'm not using SSL. Damn it. So what needs to be done about that? And actually, I'll copy that. It was about 1 hour of Googling yesterday to get rid of this problem, and it is finally in your business model, in your submit handler. Let me check it. Here it is. You need these 2 lines. And actually, you probably need the comma too. And you go here. Oh, it's already, the comma is already there. So what you need to say, uh, SSL reject unauthorized faults. So please accept it even if I do not have the proper SSL key. Something like that. So switch it off because I do not need it. It's an internal connection between containers running at Heroku. We are fine. I have no idea why they actually then ask me to have it. So, and now we need to find all the places where we do that. I just close this one here. And you have to help me to look for all the places where the pool is. Here it is again. And so that should be one place only. And yeah, I'm sorry for that. It was so easy. Here and here.
Okay, he's back.
Yeah, sorry folks. So what is the
Sorry,
last thing you
you're
got?
still muted, Albert.
I'm still muted. So
Better.
So what was the last thing that you got?
I think you have to change every connecting string to
Yeah.
the database.
So when
Maybe
I
a
open the
constant.
pool, I at each position where I do that, I need to add this SSL line here, reject unauthorized, and I have it on about 100 places. It's about 10 places after all. So yeah, it's all in the submit handler TS, and do the trick again. Need again some time. I hope that's it now. So what time is it? So the internet is telling me stop, Albert, but let's have this run and then we try to check whether it's really working. And yeah, let's have a look at it. It's compiling. While this is starting up, it should work now. We need some more thing to do. Well, actually, we have already seen the place which is a problem, and that one is this. This thing here. When I try to subscribe at the warehouse for some topic, I do it on localhost 34560. That is not going to work on Heroku. I actually have to connect the other thing. And so how do I get that? And this is the the warehouse URL of type string, and it's initially empty. Yeah, so and if process, come on. Let's do something in here. And I go for that one. And I go for Heroku here. And we could actually pass it at the parameter up there, but actually I just take the, sorry, this one here. Albert server warehouse. I would like to copy the string. Come on. So it's probably, we have had it. Come on. This one. I just want to have that one as the warehouse URL, and yeah, I could actually just change it everywhere. And here I do this dot warehouse URL plus, and I remove this thing here, and that one will actually do the job. And we do it everywhere. No, that one says submit. So we put it like this. That one was query, that one did submit. And I have a lot of those, I think. That's basically the two things I want. You know, there are probably more than that, but hey, let's try that. Okay. In principle, that one was working. Well, let's have a look at the tail thing, whether there's still an error message. No. Build succeeded, started, database exists, warehouse is offline, server started at localhost 15300. That's, I have no idea. So the port address that Heroku is has been telling to me is localhost 15300. You guys, if you would like to try that, you can actually go at your computer in your browser and try to reach Albert Shop's server herokuapp.com and see whether you can actually access this service. That should work for you too. And so what I just did is I told my submit handler where to find the warehouse. Is this true? Is this what I was telling them? Let me check. Subscribe at. Yeah. Yeah, good work. So let's try that again. And then we actually have the proof that things are working. Git push. No. Wir commit. Push. That one will take a while. While this is working, I actually am going to start my web warehouse, which is my graphical user interface. And in the web warehouse, that is now the React application running locally on my computer, I am now referring to, you won't believe it if I don't show it, the web warehouse, and there the source, and then the, well, user pages, and the enter TSX. It actually says load users from server. Oh, yeah, that one takes some time. Load users from server. App state. Model. App state. Load user from server. Here I use https albert server warehouse heroku app.com as my server. So I'm actually referring to the virtual machine running at Heroku and using the React application running locally on my machine. And that one is then accessing the Heroku thing. And if you do not believe that, you see that the localhost 300 takes quite a time to come up. The reason for that is it needed to go for the Heroku backend service, warehouse service, and that one was sleeping. You recall these little deads. And so it needed about a minute to come up, and now it's there, and we are connected. And I can say, oh, I would like to go for Kali. Didn't do Kali for quite a while. And I said, I do not know Kali. Well, the warehouse in the Postgres database running at Heroku does not know it yet. So I just provide the data. Kali, it's pretty secret. And here we are. And if I go for products, I have no products in there because I did not do that yet. So didn't do that? That's strange. I actually had that. Help me. And so let's have a Raspberry Pi. And that's what name? Yeah. Here we have it. And we can go back for main. And so do you believe that it's actually running at Heroku? We will have a look at that soon. Let's see whether this one here is working. We need to go back to this one here. I think it did not work. Stopping process with the kill. Process failed to bind. That's not the right one, is it? It probably was waiting for the timeout. Yeah, for the other machine to start. Damn it. It's crashed. How do I restart it? Had anybody an idea? Let's try whether I can actually redeploy it. Oh, that one is working. Yeah, no problem. And that one? It says it's deployed, but it has crashed. And can I actually restart that one? I will do a small change and just do all the RF. No, I know I do not want. Yeah. Let's see. What I wanted to show to you, but it's actually a timing issue. The warehouse thing at Heroku was sleeping, and then my service was not starting up fast enough, and that's a problem. If I could do it again, it would probably work, but I do not have the time to go through all this again. So we do a little trick. We go for the warehouse server, which is sleeping again. And then we go for the Heroku Postgres thing, for the add-on, for the extra service that has been, well, attached to our machine. And there we go for data clips. And actually that is, well, the thing that you use if you go for the Heroku Postgres database instead of pgadmin. There you can actually do, well, slightly similar things than you can do with pgadmin. Actually, what you can do, you can have SQL statements run against your database. And actually, you need to give this a name. Here is the database we are talking to, and that is the command I'm going to run. And if I run that, I get these results. So that is the content of our Heroku database. And actually, it says, oh yes, we have a user Bob, we have a palette U333, and we have a product which is a P101 Raspberry. I'm not sure whether this is the one I just have created. I'm not sure. So actually you can see that through our user interface we were putting data into this one. Let's have one more. So this is a product. It actually should have shoes too. I have no idea. And the barcode is champagne, of course. 42 are great drink and no.png. Yeah. And actually, that should now have reached our database, otherwise I'm very unhappy. Save and run. No. Users. Product champagne 42. You see, it's working. So it's the React running on my local machine connecting to the one running on Heroku. Isn't that a great thing? Great. So the next step that we will do next week, after all, is to deploy the React thing at Heroku too. And then you can actually use the whole thing within the cloud. So you can actually use my web GUI and my web service from your home in your browser. And that's actually the thing that we would like to achieve. And we will do this for the warehouse front end and back end, and for the shop front end and back end, and we will try to connect those two, that they speak to each other, and then it should actually work great. I'm really hoping for that to actually deliver a good job. And so actually that is the thing that you are going to program next week as an assignment. So this week you can actually prepare as much as you want, but because we will not go through the whole thing, we are only looking at your solutions next week on Thursday. So this week there is no evaluation of the new assignment because the new assignment is not out there. We will be there on Thursday and looking for old assignment that you have improved or still not yet graded, and so that will be done this week. Next week we will have the big assignment, which is, well, do implement all the functionality and put it all into Heroku. And I think it's a good idea if you start with this job. You have seen it's quite painful, and get your services running on Heroku. And next week we will do the front ends and the React applications. And there is one thing, please extend your user interface for this palette things. And then I will show next week the shop things with the offer and the ordering thing, and then we are done. Okay, thank you for your attention. So Max and Sebastian, or Max at least, are going to be in the Discord now, and do some grading of old stuff. And I actually have to go on. I have another meeting now, and I shouldn't show that. Go away. And so, see you. Thank you for your attention, guys.